Now we'll see our lesson 1. These are all the topics we are going to revise in our lesson 1. The first topic is advantages of networking. Second one is components of a network. Third one is type of networks, and the last one is different topologies, protocols and architectures of networks. We will see all these topics one by one now. Now we will see our lesson 1. These are all the topics we are going to revise in our lesson 1. The first topic is advantages of networking. Second one is components of a network. Third one is type of networks, and the last one is different topologies, protocols and architectures of networks. We will see all these topics one by one now. First, we will see the advantages of networking. First, what is networking? A system in which several computers are connected so that information and resources can be shared or exchanged between them. A system that connects several computers. With the help of that main system, several computers are connected. With the help of that main system, we can share information from one computer to another computer. This is called networking. What are all the advantages of networking? Saving time and effort, allows having multiple copies, quick communication. We can also share resources. Sharing the resources means sharing programs, data and devices. It saves the time and effort of humans. It allows having multiple copies. If one copy is deleted from one computer, we can take it from any other computer because all the computers are connected with each other. Then last one is quick communication. We can communicate between the computers easily because they are connected with the networks. Now we will see the components of a network. These are all the hardware and software used for a connecting of network. The hardwares are nodes, workstation, server, connecting devices, network interface cards, that is NIC, and shared resources. With these hardware we can make a network. What are all the software that are available for making a network? They are Network Operating System NOS and some of the specialized networking software that will be available to make a network with many number of computers. Now we will see the types of networks. There are 3 types of networks called local area network, second one is wide area network, and the last one is metropolitan area network. These are the basic networks that are available. First one is local area network. It is also known as LAN network. What is local area network? Computer networks confined to a localized area such as an office complex, a factory or an establishment. If we are connecting many number of computers within a local area such as like office or a big building or a factory, it is called local area network. We are connecting all the computers into a network in a confined area. Next one is wide area network. It is also known as WAN. In short, it is known as WAN. Combines multiple LANs. If we combine multiple local area networks, this is called wide area network. Group of linked computers that are separated by large distances. Many number of LANs are connected. So many group of computers are connected that are separated with the larger distances. It may be spread across a city, a country, several countries and even continents. If we connect computers within a city or within a country or within between several countries or even between several continents, we can connect with this wide area network. Then at last, metropolitan area network, in short it is known as MAN. It is confined to a city, hybrid of LAN and WAN. It is confined to a city. Within a city, we can connect the network. This is called metropolitan area network. It is the hybrid of LAN and WAN. It is the combination of LAN and WAN network. These are the types of networks available. Now, we will see different topologies that are available for our computer network. Topology means the way computers are connected on a network. In which way the computers are connected to form a network. This is called topology. There are different topologies like star topology, bus or linear topology, ring or circular topology, tree topology, mesh topology. These are the different topologies available for connecting the network. We will see it one by one. First, star topology. Nodes are connected to centralized connecting device called hub. There will be a centralized connecting device called hub. With the help of this hub, all the nodes are connected. Then next one is bus or linear topology. Connected to a single length of transmission cable. All the computers are connected with the help of single transmission cable. This is called bus topology. There won't be any centralized device or anything. There will be a single transmission cable to connect all these computers. Then ring or circular topology. Each node is connected to two neighboring nodes. It is in the form of ring. It is connected in the form of ring. One computer will be connected to two neighboring computers. That is, one node is connected to two neighboring nodes. This is called ring topology or circular topology. It will be formed in the form of circle. Then tree topology in the shape of inverted tree. In this topology, the network is connected in the shape of inverted tree. Inverted means upside down. It is the combination of bus and star topologies. If we combine the bus and star topology, we will get the tree topology. At last, mesh topology. Every node has a connection to every other node. Each and every computer is connected with one another. This is known as mesh topology, and these are the topologies available to make our network. Now we will see the different protocols that are available. First we will see what is protocol. It refers to the set of rules that computers follow on the network to communicate with each other. We are creating a network to make the computers to communicate with each other. That is, to share the resources and the devices that are available. For this communication, we should make a set of rules that the computers should follow. This is called protocol. These rules that we make the computers to follow is called protocol. These rules are made to make the computers to communicate with one another. First, what are all the protocols available? Ethernet, token ring. These are some of the protocols available for making a computer network. First, we will see what is Ethernet. Most widely used for setting a local area network, specifically for star or bus topologies. If we have a local area network, we can use Ethernet cable. Specifically, if we are going to design the network in the form of star or bus topology, we can use this Ethernet cable to make a network. Next one is token ring. Makes the network in the form of ring comprising of a controlling computer and other computers. It makes the network in the form of ring. For ring topology, we can use this protocol token ring, and for controlling it will control all the computers and other computers. This protocol will control all the computers. It has the ability to control all the computers. Now we will see the different architectures that are available to make the computer network. First, what is architecture? This specifies the physical components, their organization and configuration, and the data formats used in the process of networking. If we are making a network, it will the architecture means refers to the physical components. What are all the components that we connect to make the network? Their organization, how we arrange those components to form a network, and configuration. What are all the configuration and the data formats used for that network? All these combines together to form a architecture. There are some of the types of architectures like peer-to-peer architecture, client or server architecture, etc. First we will see peer-to-peer architecture. The tasks are distributed among the peers who are all equally privileged. We are giving a task. Those tasks will be distributed to all the peers who have equal privilege. If 2 or 3 peers have equal privilege, have equal ability and capability, these peers will get the task, that is assigned to that privilege. Then client or server architecture. The tasks are distributed between the server and the clients. A client does not share any of its resources with fellow clients on the network. It requests a server for content or service. In the client or server architecture, there won't be any sharing among the client computers. Among the client network, there won't be any type of sharing. It won't share any device or file or folder or program to another computer. The tasks are distributed between the server and the client. The server only gives the task to the clients and the client will give the task to the server. Request for anything to the server. There won't be any communication between the clients. Now we will move on to our lesson 2. These are all the topics we are going to revise in our lesson 2. The topics are features of Windows Movie Maker, steps to start Windows Movie Maker, then components of Windows Movie Maker, opening screen, at last create a movie with Windows Movie Maker. We will see all these topics one by one. Now we will see the features of Windows Movie Maker. First, what is Windows Movie Maker? It is a software that is used to make a video or make a movie with the help of pictures, video or music by adding special visual effects to them. To make a movie, Windows Movie Maker is used. We will see the features of Windows Movie Maker. First one is extraction of audio from video. If you want any audio from a video, from existing video, you can extract only the audio from that video. Then second one is attach audio with effects to an existing video. If a video has no audio, you can attach your own audio to the existing video. Next, enables searching online libraries. If you want to search in the net, it has the options to search online libraries. Next one, represents audio track in WAV format. In the form of WAV, audio tracks are represented so that it will be easy while you are editing your video or audio. Then next one is enables its use even in low configuration computers. If your computer has low configuration, even with that configuration, it can do all these effects. Then it enables readability of the text. It makes the text to read. It makes the text in the form of readable one. Last one is reduces the risk of losing the work in the event of computer crashing or hanging. If your computer is crashed or hanged when you are making a movie, the content, your movie won't be lost because it is auto-saved in your computer. While you are making a movie itself, the content you are doing will be auto-saved automatically. It will automatically save your content and changes in the movie maker. If you are making the computer to work after this crash or hanging, you can restore the content that you have done before crashing or hanging of your computer. Now we will see how to start a Windows Movie Maker. If you install Windows Movie Maker in your computer, you can go to Start, then go to All Programs and click on Movie Maker. With the help of this movie maker, you can add photos, videos, music, visual effects, title, credits, captions, and also you can edit them in the way you want to look. Now we will see the components of Windows Movie Maker opening screen. What are all the components that are available while opening your screen of the Windows Movie Maker? First one is title bar. At the top, it displays the project name and title. The title bar is used to display the project name of your project and the title. The second one is ribbon menu. It has various menus like home, animations, visual effects, project and view. It has various tabs. This menu has various tabs too, that is various menus to make your video or edit your video, like home, animations, visual effects, project and view. These are all the tabs or menus available in your ribbon menu. Next one is storyboard or timeline pan. It is used to navigate or arrange or split the clips. It is used to navigate. It is used to move among your clips or arrange the clips in the order that you want, or split. If you want to split any clip, you can make that in the storyboard or timeline pan. Next, preview monitor pan. It is used to see how the movie will appear as a final published product. If you made a video, you can see in the preview pan how your movie is going to be shared or published in your computer or in your social media. Then at last, movie control panel. Using the buttons, you can rewind, fast forward or play your project preview. It has 3 buttons for rewind, fast forward and play. With the help of this movie control panel, you can control your movie. That is, you can rewind the movie if you want, or fast forward or play the movie in the preview pan. Now we will see how to create a movie with the help of Windows Movie Maker. For creating a movie, first you have to add the required items. That is, if you want, you should add photos or videos or any music. First we will see how to add photos and videos. For that, now go to Home tab and click on Add Video and Photos. Then browse through your pictures or videos. You should browse your pictures or videos from your computer. Then click on Add. You can add your video or photos to the Windows Movie Maker. Editing a video. Now you should edit the photo or video that you have added to the Windows Movie Maker. For editing a video, go to Edit tab, then go to Trim. Then click and drag to set the start and end point, then save trim. If you want to trim a video, if you want to make trim a video, trimming means cutting off the unnecessary portions. If you want to trim that video, you should go to Edit tab, then go to Trim. Then you should set the start point and end point. In which portion you want to trim, you should select that portion with the help of by setting the start and end point, and at last click on Save Trim. Your trimmed video will be saved. Then we will see moving a picture or video to a different location. If a picture or video is in one location, how we should move that to different location? For that, you should click and hold on the image pan of the picture or video to be moved. First, you should click and hold the image or video to be moved, and then drag it to the new location and drop it there. You should click and hold it, then drag it to the new location and drop it there itself. Now we will see how to add music to your movie. For adding music, go to Home tab and then click on Add Music. Then browse your music from the computer and then add to it. Then editing music. How to edit a music? Double click on the music added and click on Options tab. First you have to double click the music that you have added just now and click on the Options tab. Give the start time, start and end point. First you have to double click and go to Options tab, then give the start time, start and end point There will be options to enter the start time and then start point and end point. Give the required values for in those options. Your music will be edited now. Then deleting a music. How to delete a music? Go to Home tab and click on Remove. Remove will be available under the editing group. Under the editing, first select the music or photo or video and then go to the Home tab, click on Remove. Under the editing group, click on Remove to delete a music, or in this same way you can delete your photo or video also. Then adding visual effects. How to add visual effects to your image or to your video? First, select the point where you wish to add the visual effect. If you want to add a visual effect in the middle or in the starting or in the ending, select that point first and then go to Visual Effects tab. Choose the desired effect. A list of effects. After going to your Visual Effects tab, a list of effects will be displayed. From that, you can choose the desired effect. Now, if you want to remove the applied effect, you have applied the effect by choosing your desired effect. Now, you don't want it. To remove this applied effect, you can go and click on None. In the Visual Effects tab itself, there will be an option called None. Go and click on it to remove the visual effect that you have added. Now we are going to add auto movie themes. For adding auto movie themes, go to Home tab and then click on Auto movie themes. A list of options will be available after clicking on Auto movie themes. Click the desired option that you want. After clicking the desired option, your auto movie theme will be added to your video. Then we will see how to add a movie title. Adding title to your movie. Go to Home tab and click on Title under the Add group. In Home tab, under the Add group, go and click on the title. The title will be added to your video. Then adding credits. Go to the Home tab, click on the down arrow next to the credits. There will be an option called credits. Click on the down arrow available next to the option credits. Choose the type of credits you wish to add. After clicking on that arrow, you can choose the type of credit that you want to add. Then now you are going to add the captions. For that, go to Home tab and click on Caption. After clicking on Caption, your caption will be added to the video. Edit the title, credits and captions using the Format tab. After adding these title, credits and captions, you can edit the text that is available in the title, credits and captions in your own way using the Format tab. Now we will move on to our lesson 3. In this lesson 3, we are going to revise all these topics. They are difference between data and information, elements of a table, next database management system and relational database management system, and at the last commonly used data types in Access database. Now we will see all these topics one by one. Now we will see the difference between data and information. First, what is data? Data or facts or the raw material of information. It is the raw fact that is available in a computer, that is given to a computer. It is called data. Next, information. When the data is organized systematically so that it is useful, it becomes information. When the data is organized systematically in the computer, that is arranged systematically so that it will be useful for us, it becomes information. That is a set of data formed, arranged to form a information. For example, marks obtained by a student in each subject is data. If 88 is the marks obtained by a student in maths, then 88 is a data. And report card of a student with data, the collection of all the marks with the in the report card of a student, then this is called information. Already I told set of data or group of data, collection of data is called information. So in a report card we will be having a collection of marks. So this becomes an information. Now we will see the elements of a table. What are all the elements that a table will be having? First table will be having a table name. This is the first element of a table. Table name. It has the name of the table. The table name refers to the name of the table. Then the second element is field. Field is the smallest unit in a database, which is a collection of data items of a particular type. If there is a collection of data items of a particular type, then it is called a field. Then records. A record or tuple is a collection of logically related fields. If the fields are related logically, then it is called records. It is also known as tuple. Next one is data item. Each data in a table is a data item. Each and every data that is given in a table is called a data item. Last one is, we will see the definition for table. Collection of data stored in the form of rows and columns. Table is a collection of data. Collection of more data that is stored in the form of rows and columns. Rows means records and columns means fields. These fields and records combine to make a table. These rows and columns, that is fields and records, combine to make a table. In this form, we can create a table. Now, this is the example for elements of table. You can see the table name as players, and you can see 4 fields: player ID, last name, first name and school are the 4 fields that is available in the players table. Then you can see 6 records, that is 6 rows in the players table, and each and every data given in this table, each and every entry in this table is called data item. These are the elements of the table. With the help of this image, you can remember the elements of table easily. This is the example for elements of the table. Now we will see what is database management system and relational database management system. First one is database management system. A system that manages data is known as database management system. In short, it is known as DBMS. If a system manages, controls data, it is called database management system. With the help of this database management system, you can add, print, sort, search, edit or delete the data easily. You can add the data, print those data, sort, that is arrange your data, search any data if you want, edit the data or delete the data easily with this database management system. Then the next one is relational database management system. A system which stores data in the form of multiple related tables is known as relational database management system. In short, it is known as RDBMS. This will relate all the tables. This will relate more than one table. With the help of this relational database management system, we can relate one or more tables. Then you can relate data from multiple tables and work with many tables easily. If you want to relate more data, more tables, you can relate them with the help of this relational database management system. Now we will see what are all the commonly used data types in Access database. The first data type is text. It consists of alphanumeric characters. Its size is up to 255 characters. The second one is memo. It consists of alphanumeric characters and the size is up to 65535 characters. The third one is number. The number data type consists of the numeric values. It stores numbers from -2147483648 to 2147483647. There is no other way you should memorize these numbers. Then next one is date or time. It is used to store date and time data. Its size is date and time values for the years 100 to 9999. Up to the year 9999, it can store the data. The next one is currency. Currency data type is store the currency data. The size is same as number. Then next one is yes or no. Yes or no data type is used to store logical values, that is yes or no or true or false. The size of this is 0 or 1. Next one is auto number. Auto number is used to store the automatic number. It will display the number automatically when you give enter, when you add new entry. The size is same as number. Next one is OLE object. OLE object is used to store pictures, graphs, sound, video, large Excel sheet or Word document. If you want to store these things, you can use OLE object. It can store up to 1 gigabyte. It can store data up to 1 gigabyte, or it will be limited by the disk space available in your computer. Next one is hyperlink. For storing the hyperlink addresses in an access table, it stores the addresses of the hyperlink in the access table. Its size is up to 8192 characters. This is the table for the commonly used data types in the Access database. These are all the example for data types. First, if you want to add a field name called admission number, you can make the field type as text. Any field which will store numbers but will not be used in calculation. If you want to store numbers that are not used for calculation, you can make it as text data type. Then for roll number, you can make it as text, because in this also you are going to store numbers and alphabets, the numbers that are not used for calculations. Next one is last name. Usually name will be alphabets. For that you can make the data type as text to store the alphabetic entry. Then the first name, it is same as last name. The name will be in the form of text, so that you can set the field type as text, and it will be stored the alphabetic entry. Then date of birth. For date of birth, we will store the date or time. So we will make the field type as date or time field type. It is used to store the date in the form of date format. Next one is address. Usually address will be in the form of text. It will be the combination of numbers and alphabets. Those numbers won't be used for calculation, so you can make the field type as text itself. Next one is fees paid. In the fees paid column, we are going to enter whether the student paid the fees or not. So only two values will be the answer, whether it is yes or no. So in the field type, you can set it as yes or no. If the fees is paid, the response will be yes, or else it will be no. Then tuition fees amount. In the tuition fees amount, we are going to calculate the tuition fees. We are going to store the numbers that are used for calculation. So we are setting the field type as number, because that numeric entry will be used for calculation. Next one is performance description. We are going to store the performance of a student. This one you can set the field type as memo. This is used to write the detailed description about the student's performance in the class. We can write the description of the performance of any student in the class. Next one is student photo. We are going to add student photo. For this, you can make the field type as attachment, because you are going to attach the student photo. This is used to store a .gif or .jpeg photo file format. You can store the .gif or .jpeg file format if you set the field type as attachments. Now we will see the concept of keys. For that, we will see some of the keywords, that is unique field. Unique field means one which does not have an entry repetition. If there is many repetition, that is a name can be repeated in a table, because two students can have a same name, two or more students can have a same grade. So a field that have no repetition is called unique field. There will be no redundant data. For example, admission number. For each and every student, the admission number will be different, will be unique. So this field is called unique field. Then what is candidate key? One having an attribute or set of attributes that is likely to uniquely identify a record. In the candidate key, we can see admission number and roll number. The admission number will also be unique and the roll number may also be unique for each and every student. So we can set the candidate key for both the roll number and admission number. They can be unique for each and every student. Next one is primary key. Candidate key that is chosen to uniquely identify a record. With the help of admission number, we can uniquely identify a record. We have set that admission number as a candidate key. The field that is set as a candidate key to uniquely identify a record is called primary key. Next one is alternate key. Candidate key that is not chosen as a primary key. We have set admission number and roll number as a candidate key, but we have chosen only admission number as a primary key. Another field called roll number has not been chosen. This is called alternate key. That is, we can choose it as a alternate set. So it is called alternate key because it is not chosen as a primary key. These are all the concept of keys. These are all only the definitions for the concept of keys. Now this is the portion for your half yearly exam. We have revised it fully, lesson 1, 2 and 3. All the 3 lessons we have revised. So you have to read the whole full lesson and all the book back exercises. Remember it, read it thoroughly and do it well in your half yearly exam. All the best for writing your half yearly exam. Thank you.